I no longer do what I was gonna do. Me if it could flee. Me if it take away myself. Me if it take away myself. Me if it hide like a thief in the night. Me if it get out of sight. Me if it take away myself. If it take away myself. I have to utilize I wings. Surely I cleave your eyes. I said, yeah, I find you very hard to resist. But this relationship I'm gonna desist. But how can I face you when all I wanna do is just taste you? I know you think I play me, I play, but soon you're gonna see the light of day. Just relax, don't move an inch. I'll be gone in a pinch. May I feel take away myself. May I feel take away myself. May I feel hide like a thief in the night. May I forget out of sight. May I feel take away myself. Take away myself. I have to utilize I will. Show the eye a clean pair of heels. I say, yeah, yeah. Been there, done that, don't need it again, yeah. I'm not a masochist who won't play your game, yeah. To all you move, you off me way to the core. Sayonara, the hot girl gone through the door. Take away ourselves. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. Stand up on the body, girl, let me take away ourselves. Take away ourselves. Stand up on the body, girl, let me take away ourselves.
Well, this one is a bombshell. Well, this one is a bombshell.
All you gotta do is just speak. One word is enough, and I'm no longer so rough. I forget what I was trying to say. I no longer do what I was gonna do, but you're no good for me. That's why me know I said me if it could flee. Me I feel take away myself. Me I feel take away myself. Me I feel hide like a thief in the night. Me I feel get out of sight. Me I feel take away myself. I feel take away myself. I have to utilize I wings. Surely I cleave your eyes. I said, yeah, I find you very hard to resist. But this relationship I'm gonna desist. But how can I face you when all I wanna do is just taste you? I know you think I play me, I play, but soon you're gonna see the light of day. Just relax, don't move an inch. I'll be gone in a pinch. May I feel take away myself. May I feel take away myself. May I feel hide like a thief in the night.
Yes, my listeners. Welcome to another Real Stuff podcast. This is yours truly, Franco and Flavius in.
Jamaica.
All right. This
Nice
morning,
sunny Jamaica.
I know. This morning we have a very special guest this morning, none other than Mr. Michael Lumsden, the chairman of Charlestown Maroon Council in Charlestown, Portland, Jamaica. We're going to be linking up with him later on after Flavius finish his Did You Know. I hear you're mixing up some stuff there, Flavius. What are you mixing up this morning?
Blue Mountain Coffee.
Ah,
It's coffee morning. Yeah.
yeah, beat me with the coffee, huh? You know what I'm having this morning?
Good morning, listeners. Good morning. Very, very good morning to you. We have bright sunshine here in Jamaica. And special greeting this morning to the Charlestown Maroons.
Well,
And the chairman will later tell us all about what's happening on their front in the COVID, how COVID is doing us and how they are coping with it. And special greetings also to our lockdown area for Nutter Bay, Enfield, and Dover.
Still on the lockdown, huh?
Well, today should be the last day if no changes are made.
Okay.
If no changes are made, but these changes come so quickly, that you never can tell. But we should be out of lockdown on the 21st, which is tomorrow. So we are hoping that we can go out and hoping that the market will be open this weekend because we haven't had any market products for over 2 weeks now.
Okay.
And especially the people in the market, the vendors, who I buy from week after week. Very special hello to them and welcome, And then all the supermarkets, the pharmacy, New Millennium in Nutter Bay, our health center, police, the hospital, and everybody else who make the town and the area turn around, ticks,
True.
I hope all of you are listening. We want another special hello to the people of Barbados, people of Grenada, St. Lucia,
I tell you what,
Antigua.
Flavius. Go and tell them hello. Let me get my tea, all right?
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, man. So we are hoping you're all doing fine, and we are hoping that you keep listening to us, and you can log on to your YouTube channel either directly or via your Gmail account. Once you have a Gmail or a YouTube account, you have a Google account that deals with everything, The one account, one password, one username, and you are in. And then you can go into the chat box and communicate with us. Or you can text me by WhatsApp directly at 876-531-3949. Send me your message. Let me repeat that number. 876-531-3949. If you have questions during when our guest is here, you need to give a question to them. That's a number you can use, or you can go to the YouTube comments chat box and leave a message, and we try and get it answered during the show today.
True.
And every day, every day. And we are this week has been going so far, and then tomorrow is a big day. Because we have our man in London, Don, live from London, giving us all the inside scoop.
Whole heap of inside scoop tomorrow. Him say whole heap of things happening in London tomorrow when it comes to football.
The Germans have restarted their league, and the rest of Europe wants to follow. So we'll have lots of stuff.
Hey, hey, Flavius, let me dip in a minute here. You see how the Germans spectators how they look in the stands?
I didn't know they have spectators. I think they
Cartoon,
were behind.
cardboard characters.
Oh, cardboard.
so, so the players there will think as if they're playing for a big crowd. So everything running
Yeah,
good for them.
and Franco, they can also play the cheering through some loudspeakers,
Oh yeah, yes, they can
So
do all of that.
yeah, it sounds like it's real.
True,
When you
true.
look in the stands and the songs, the songs are going on and the cheering. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, little animation, for make them think
Yeah.
about people in the stands as well.
Okay.
So I know you
That's
you have some did you know this morning. You want to get into it or you want to give them a song first? Cause I have
yeah,
Wayne song this morning, and
give
it's
them. Let's hear the song first, and then I go into a short. Did you know? Did you know this morning? Be connected to our guests and the Charleston Maroons.
all right. And this song is from Wayne Harmon came here yesterday, our special guest, and he told us about this song. The title of it, It's All Right. So we're gonna drop it for you this morning and let you know that everything will be all right. So don't worry.
And it's
Go ahead.
not in the song is brand new.
Brand new, yeah, brand new.
It's alright, it's okay. Just hang on a little bit longer, 'cause tomorrow is another day. It's alright, it's okay. Just stand firm in the face of adversity and watch them fade away. Life of a wave will carry you down when the money in the bank gets shorter and the bills are coming and you're caught in between the devil and the deep blue water. I know say that when you come home my yard and the picnic them I look them sober. So you do what you can, 'cause a man is just a man and you don't make the picnic them sober. And you pray to the Father when this tribulation I go in, but remember Jonah in the belly of the whale and Daniel in the lion's den. It's alright, it's okay. Just hang on a little bit longer, 'cause tomorrow is another day. It's alright, it's okay. Just stand firm in the face of adversity and watch them fade away. I say time of a wait, we test your faith, so you got to have enough endurance. One day at a time, just keep on trying, 'cause time carry no insurance. No matter how the situation hard, things can only get better. Just have some faith, everything I go great, 'cause nothing ever lasts forever. And you pray to the Father when this tribulation I go in, but remember Jonah in the belly of the whale and Daniel in the lion's den. It's alright, it's okay. Just hang on a little bit longer, 'cause tomorrow is another day. It's alright, it's okay. Just stand firm in the face of adversity and watch them fade away.
Well, this one is a bombshell. Well, this one is a bombshell.
It's alright, it's okay. Just hang on a little bit longer, 'cause tomorrow is another day. It's alright, it's okay. Just stand firm in the face of adversity and watch them fade away.
Yes, indeed. Big tune, Flavius. Big tune.
Oh yeah, very big, very big. And it's gonna go far.
Oh yes, yeah, oh yes. Well, right now I'm sipping on my tea. I'm not drinking coffee like Flavius. And my tea
Okay.
is some turmeric ginger with honey
Wow.
and lemon.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm licking out
That.
the mucus out of me, you know, and I'm having
Mm-hmm.
a nice ginger bulla.
Wow. Oh.
So, a whole heap of ginger this morning. So, we're going into your
Yeah.
did you know, right?
You're under enough protection this month.
Enough protection. Because although the
Yeah.
place open up, people still has to be careful. You know, still have
Oh
to be
yes.
careful.
Okay. Did you know? Did you know that the Maroons have come to Jamaica and they were, they were really the thought of not being enslaved. So they took to the hills and formed themselves into their groups and they fought the British. Remember, at that time in history, the British was probably the most powerful fighting unit in the world. They were going around and capturing anywhere and everywhere that they could so they can benefit. And even little Jamaica, they were here because we had things that they needed. We had the sugar and all that. And they had the slaves to put on the plantations to work. But the Maroons had other ideas. They took to the hills and did what they had to do to survive and keep out of the reach of the British. And that led to a lot of fighting, a lot of wars between the Maroons and the British because the British wanted to have them under their control. And the Maroons say, no, we won't be under your control. So they fought, and it looked like the British were losing the war because at some point in time, the British called in the Maroons and said, let's have a peace treaty so we stop this fighting. I think the first peace treaty was signed in 1738, and the one we speak a little more about was signed in the 23rd of June, 1739. And in Jamaica, we have 5 Maroon communities. And you have one set that they call the Leeward Maroons and one set the Windward Maroons. The Leeward Maroons signed the first peace treaty. And then the Windward Maroons under the command of Nani, but Nani did not sign the treaty. The treaty was signed by Captain Kwao, and he signed it on behalf of the Windward Maroons on the 23rd of June, 1739. Now, Kwao was attached to what is now known as the Charlestown Maroons. So each year, the Charlestown Maroons, under the leadership of the late Frank Lumsden, decided to celebrate that day, the day of the signing, as a special thank you to Captain Kwao, who led them and who actually signed the peace treaty. And the British called him the Invisible Hunter, because when they see him and when they thought they have him, because they wanted to capture him or kill him, when they reached where they were or where he's supposed to be, he had vanished, and they could not understand it. Could not understand it at all. So every year, the Charlestown, they decided to have the celebration for Kwawa, 1-day celebration. And that went on for a number of years until the colonel decided that he wanted more. and he created a international conference, bringing in scholars from all over the world, the Caribbean, Jamaica, America, Australia, different parts of Africa, to speak on the Maroon subject. It started a 2-day festival, and today it is now a 4-day festival of conference, academic conference, and festival, entertainment, and of course, Maroon food, Maroon foods, Maroon, drinks, liquors, teas. So, and that is a major attraction every year. And the conference is built around the 23rd of June. Let me just read you something about Kwao. Written by Miss Carol Miller. Just pass up it. Kwao was a male child born in the Akan community in Ghana, West Africa. The Akan is a large ethnic group that makes up nearly half of the population of Ghana. Okay. Kwao's name, which suggests he's from the Fante group, is a tribute to Thursday, the day on which he was born. As a child of the Fante people, his name might have been spelled differently. As an Akan child, Kwao would have grown up with a deep respect for a supreme being. This innate awareness, understanding, and appreciation is spoken to in the Akan proverb, which states, Obi Niyeri Akwaba Nami. No one has to teach a child about God. Kwao would also have learned at a very early age of the importance of his Samanfo, that is, his ancestors, and would have lived with a very strong consciousness of the need to venerate them so that things would go well with his life and the life of his family and community. It is told that he was a fierce leader with lots of tactics, probably the first set of guerrilla warriors in the world I had seen at that time. So they eventually beat the British into submission, and the second peace treaty was signed on the 23rd of June, 1739. Okay, that's about it for today.
So in case you never know, now you know. Did you know with Flavius each and every day on the Real Stuff podcast? Yes, Flavius, that was a good one. Very good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Before we bring in our guests, we're going to play some more music. And let me remind you that these songs that we're playing are from Jamaican artists, musicians. So you're going to hear all type of instruments in it. Listen to the instruments as well and listen to the lyrics. The next one is One Drop of Love, because we need some love. We need some love, and the only way we can truly be ourselves, we have to get back into the groove of loving ourselves and then loving others. So One Drop of Love from Mr. Willie Stewart.
learn from each other. If you live and you love, it's a blessing that brings us together. Together. One drop of love. One drop of love can move a mountain. One drop of love can turn rain into sunshine. One drop of love can make a baby smile. One drop of love can lift our spirits high. Love begins right now, so give someone a helping hand. Equality for everyone, moving in one direction, building trust for a solid foundation. Willing hearts make a stronger, stronger nation. Ooh yeah. One drop of love. One drop of love can move a mountain. One drop of love can turn rain into sunshine. One drop of love can make a baby smile. One drop of love can lift our spirits high. Feel with your heart, heal with your soul, never lose control. You should open your eyes and realize that you are not alone. In a harmony of voices that's united in every way, chanting and singing, dancing and moving all the troubles away. One drop of love can move a mountain. One drop of love can turn rain into sunshine.
One drop of love. We're bringing in, ladies and gentlemen, all my guests this morning. Our special guest this morning is none other than Mr. Michael Lumsden, Chairman of Charlestown Maroon Council. And Charlestown is in Portland, Jamaica. Good morning, Michael. Good morning. How you doing?
I am very well. Morning, Franco. Morning, Flavius, and good morning, listeners.
How is the family? How is the family doing?
Well, first and foremost, we give thanks. Everyone who we are, looking out for seems to be going on okay.
Good.
And, people are in place and just observing to see what is happening and how best to, continue to move forward.
True.
Wonderful.
So, what do you have for us this morning to tell us about the Maroons?
Well, I think it is again okay. When Flavius asked about just having the interview talk, I said the best perspective probably for me to offer or to speak from would be that of the chairman of the Charlestown Maroon Council Limited.
Excellent.
Which is a Provident Society, registered in Jamaica, the north of Jamaica, and this was set up in the early days, probably about 20 years ago, by more than that, in fact, by Colonel Lumsden and others, members of the community. And it was foreseen and it was designed or put together so that Charlestown Maroons, the village Charlestown, and the Maroons in Charlestown, in looking away forward, because that was the need at the time for development, for activity. And it was deemed that we would need a formal body, a structured company, in order to be able to engage the various agencies and requirements for, compliance to operate projects and things like that. So that was the idea behind it. CTMC has continued to operate and lead in conjunction with the traditional leadership of the Charlestown Maroons, because there is a distinction the Charlestown Maroons operate under a traditional leadership and governance structure, which dates back historically, and people would be aware of some of these things. But that is under the leadership of the colonel, and the colonel has authority within the treaty lands, and the colonel puts together, or usually operates with a traditional management structure of captains and majors and others and elders. And that is in fact the true leadership structure in Charlestown today, continuing on from Colonel Frank Lumsden.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is an important distinction to make that my role is actually not within the traditional leadership structure which exists, and which, of course, Flavius would be very familiar, working with the Charlestown Maroons for many, many years.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So it is, my role is that of a chairman of a company. My job is to look at, well, first, how I came into this role was that I had worked with Colonel Lumsden, Frank, for many years. We were good friends. He's my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
We shared many, similar interests over time. And as it came closer to the time of his passing, he just asked me to continue to support and advise the colonel and the con in the same ways in which I had worked with him and supported him in his, leadership role and projects and ideas and strategies, because that is really what I had enjoyed over the years with Frank. And that was going on long before I was even actually involved with the group at Charlestown.
Mm-hmm.
So I was sort of a Maroon at a distance, and serving more of a consultant, in a sort of consulting advisory business role, which is some of what I do and my background. But that is what Frank asked me to do. And he was at the time trying to make sure that the registered company was in compliance and meeting certain rules and so on. And I saw the effort that he was making to do so. And at the time of his passing, it was my view, and it was agreed that we should just continue. We should not let this effort stop. We should not let it stall. We should not let it fail. And so a group of us have rallied to do that. And so that's really what we're doing. We continue to carry out on the structure and form and vision and strategy, much of what Colonel Lumsden and his leadership team over the years described as the way forward for Charlestown.
Okay. Flavius?
Yeah, man. Yeah, Mike, you can say something, more about when Colonel Lumsden took over Charlestown and, where it came from and where he left it.
Well, I think to be fair and to be honest, I think that narrative I can only give from my perspective, because there is, I think if you were to go back and speak with members of the council leadership, acting Colonel Kim, Rodney, the captains, Barlow White, they were there and they were living it at the time. And so, to be honest, it is they who I have to rely on to fill in some of the blanks or some of the questions that I might have as to how things actually were, working and unfolding on the ground day to day. So my perspective is sort of, as I said, from the strategic, oversight and involvement. So really how I came into it is at the time, my uncle and godfather, Keith Lumsden, was a man who was involved at Charlestown for many years and trying to, he kept talking and loved the spirit of the Maroons at Charlestown. So he had, in an effort to lift the presence and the resurgence of Maroon tradition and practice in Charlestown, he had convened a group of family elders to begin to restore custom, practice, governance, etc. And eventually that group nominated Colonel Lumsden to be the acting colonel for a couple of years and then the colonel. How it came together formally was I was at the time, this was now in about 2003, I was at the time working on a project, the Jamaica Cluster Competitiveness Project, through my connections with the Jamaica Exporters Association. And in working on that project and speaking with Frank about the things that he saw as needed and wanted to get, put together so they could action, we developed a strategy for Charlestown under the council, and this is why we had to form the company, to focus on three key areas which aligned with the three key areas that the country was looking at strategically, and those were agribusiness, ecotourism, or smaller scale tourism involving culture, heritage, etc. And then the third leg of the stool, if you want to call it that, was culture practice. And in each case, each of these avenues looked available for Charlestown in terms of, development strategies. And so to a great degree, that is what was adopted. So that's how we sort of brought the two together in conversation and in concept. And to a large extent, again, those strategic planks is what governs our, plans and activities going forward. So, as I said, during the ensuing years, up until I actually got more closely involved, because during this time I was working, running my own business, doing consulting, etc. So I was, as I said, a Maroon at a distance. But Frank lived nearby. Frank lived further up the hill from me in by Maryland, or above Maryland in the Blue Mountains here. And so we would, see each other regularly, would stop and we would talk and we would play tennis and so on. And, he would bring these ideas and strategies and we would knock them around and see how they could be made to work. Yeah, man. And, again, there were certain development necessities. I mean, the one of the things is that, again, Charlestown, like many small rural communities, was suffering from, many of the things that afflict these communities. Lack of resources, lack of investment, lack of opportunities for young people migrating away from the communities and into the city and leaving behind. So this was very much the sort of cornerstone of Frank's vision, that the Maroon culture, heritage, and practice must not be lost. And that in fact was the bridges that needed to be built so we could walk on. So again, without knowing a great deal of the details as to how things happened, on the ground and day to day. Because Frank was a very mercurial character and he was always on the go, as you know.
Oh, yes.
And so, sort of from the standpoint, from the time he took over as the colonel, he just proceeded to move, very rapidly, very determinedly. He contacted everybody. He developed a Rolodex of very impressive caliber, ambassadors and so on, and agency people and ministers of government. And he just took it on, and he sold his vision with a passion, and he had good guidance from persons in the community, Father Ken Douglas and others, many others. And it was they who did the work. And again, in engaging some of the youngsters at the time who have become now the inheritors and managers and future deciders of our court. But again, it was very active. He moved in a lot of different directions. He sought funding. He had building plans. He had outreach. Drumming and thing was very important to bring back. So again, I wasn't there. And so again, I'm sure persons like Barlow and Padam and Kim and Rodney, etc., they can tell you a much more detailed story as to how things worked. But what I did see was the process and the progress, year to year, day to day, ideas, projects. It was really fascinating, and it was certainly a privilege and pleasure to be working with Frank like that during this time. We shared a lot. I learned a lot, certainly. And hopefully I think I contributed as well. So that's how I came to, be a part of Charlestown movement. And as I have said to the group there now, I knew of all of you before I knew any of you. Because Frank never stopped talking about these people.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I mean, you would be one of those. Flavius.
Yes.
Flavius.
Yes.
Never quite sure who or what Flavius was, but you heard the name Flavius. So that's how Frank was.
Yeah.
So he sold his vision with a great passion, and he was very determined. Made it look like a lot when a lot of times it was string and tape. Mm-hmm. And imagination and determination. And it's that's something you realize. It's one thing to get a business or have something ongoing. It's another thing to start something up, and get it up and going.
Oh yeah. I was very impressed with his determination to get the name and Charlestown out there in the public, and especially internationally. He always wanted to do that, and he went to great lengths in trying to do that.
Well, certainly. I mean, I think Frank. Clearly, we have family connections to Buff Bay and to Charlestown and to the Maroons. But yes, it was how he was. He was an unusual. He was an unusual person to step into the role, because, as I said, I met Frank and got to know Frank when he was living in Chicago and when I was going to college in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And that's when I, knew Frank as an adult. And Frank was steeped in life in Chicago. He loved opera, he loved museums, art. He was a very cosmopolitan person, as well as a very philosophical person. So, when he came to Charlestown and took on the mantle of acting colonel and then colonel, he brought all of these things with him. His whole, talents for art, for sales, or uh, a view of the world and how Maroon's Jamaica fit into the world. And that was, as I said, an unusual thing because he brought unusual qualities that, again, he embedded in his work. So the whole passion for the Charleston Maroon drummers and dancers. Frank, if you saw Frank dancing in a disco in Chicago, then you would know, what I'm saying. And, it relates. If you see Frank's art and his painting, large, big, colorful, flamboyant. So he had that quality to him, which he brought and invested in all of his work. And as he would like to say, and he used to quote philosophers, and Camus was one of his favorites. He said, imagination. What did he say? No. What is I'll come back to it, man. Myth, right? Myth is made for the imagination to breathe life into. And Frank imagined a Charlestown. Not in the background, but a Charlestown in the forefront.
Yeah.
Presenting themselves to the world. And like I said, I watched him, and you certainly did too. He did, along with his colleagues and the many people who contributed along the way. And again, that's another thing, is that he really did accumulate over time a following of people who also, brought very diverse, interesting talents into the equation, and just very unique people who, for whatever reason, just became very devoted to this mission and to this effort. And again, I'm talking people from all walks of life.
Yeah, but one thing with him, he is never afraid to ask. That is a major thing of his success.
Well, I would have to say, that probably goes back to his mother, my paternal grandmother, Satira Hartley Lumsden, Satira Lumsden. But that is how Moms was.
Okay.
That is how she operated. She was not afraid to ask. And her motto was "Go up and prosper."
Okay, wonderful, yeah.
A very determined lady, but again, a very wonderful, compassionate, loving, real, rootsy grandmother. Yeah. And she and Frank were great friends, all through their life.
Okay.
But yes, man, how Frank, one of the things that got the thing going for him was that you have the need for these abeng blowing. Because, we have these celebrations, national occasions, and, there was this call for abeng blowing. But at the time, many of the abeng blowers in Jamaica were quite elderly and often, sequestered far away up in the, Nanny Town or Kumpong or, some far place. And so what happened was now Frank learned to blow the abeng, and he also got himself a Digicel phone. This is when Digicel was just coming out.
Okay, yes.
He became the first abeng blower with a Digicel. And so he became part of his calling card, that people would start to call him, national so-and-so, we're having this so-and-so and so-and-so, and need an abeng, and Frank was the available abeng blower. That became part of his calling card, and he would go to these events and so on, and he would, get himself involved, talk up to whoever he met, ambassadors, governors, whoever it was. Frank made sure that he was going to get somebody's business card or give somebody his business card or,
Yeah.
that is just how he was. And again, Frank was a computer salesman in Chicago. That's what and he sold stocks and bonds and financial products. So, again, that was part of what he just brought to the game.
I remember when he was invited to Canada to be part of the Jamaica independence celebration. And he took the drummers and dancers, and in fact he actually blew their bang on Jamaica Day in Halifax.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah?
No, that's what I'm saying. Everything starts somewhere. But again, Frank took it seriously, and he took every opportunity to try and advance the cause. And again, it was never just for Charlestown alone either. He had a formal role later on as the PR officer for the Combined Secretariat of Colonel. But he always had that view. He was not just an advocate for Charlestown. He was an advocate for Maroons in Jamaica and Maroons, all over the world.
And indigenous people all over the world, yes.
And by extension, yes, certainly. So, these are part of our far-reaching, if you want to call them mottos, values, but yes, towards a global, indigenous, borderless community.
Yeah.
From the Abeng to the internet. It speaks to, what does it mean to be a free living Maroon in Jamaica today? In Jamaica today. You understand? So it's forward-looking. Everything is forward-looking. And seeking, to be a part of and to be an integral part of development, culture, life, rural life, fun, entertainment, to just make life better. So he has always advocated for, the Windward Maroons as a group. He, had good relationships, particularly, well, again, at the start, certainly with the colonel in Scotts Hall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, who did an important work for us in assisting Frank in his teaching and learning about his role as a colonel.
Okay,
and it's something that we remember in Charlestown, that, we do have to remember that while we were, at one point, perhaps the least of the apostles, we did get help. And Scott Hall helped us. And I know that he had a good relationship with Colonel Sterling. These were people he respected, and again, it was a good exchange. And it was good to watch.
But when Frank transitioned, and it seemed like a big void was created. So, what has happened to the Charlestown Maroon since?
Well, again, we were Frank. Again, we had a forward-looking approach. When Frank first became ill, said to him, look, whatever else you do now, you have to be grooming the next generation of leaders for Charlestown. You have to do that. That is probably one of the most important things you will do, your legacy. And he took that seriously. And over I'd say 2 years, year and a half, before his transitioning, he started to groom his team. And that would be acting Colonel Marcia Douglas Kim, who was, again, a great stalwart during the time, and a great friend. And that is who Frank nominated specifically to me, that he wanted to succeed him as the colonel. others, captains, Barlow, Rodney, Padam, many people. He really the drummers and dancers. An effort was made to start to show them how to manage things. Let go, give them the responsibility to do things. Don't hold it up, give it to them. And that continued up until he passed away. Interesting in all of this, we never had a conversation about my being a colonel, because it actually came up in conversation at the time as to who should be the next colonel.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you that was never his intention. So me and Frank never had a conversation. Frank never come to see me and say, "Boy, Michael, you look like you would make a good colonel at Charleston." No, never said that. He never come to me and say, "Boy, Michael, do you think you would want to be?" We never, ever had such a conversation. It was never, and at the, as we were going forward, he made it very clear what he wanted me to do. To just, if I could, continue to be a, let us say, business consultant advisor to the team going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So that was very clear, and it became clear, as I said, the most logical role for me then was the current chairmanship of the council of the council.
Mm-hmm.
By way of creating a void, certainly.
Mr. Chairman.
But just to finish the thought, certainly there was a void, because he was a historic and big figure, larger than life figure, certainly for us in our community. But I'm really happy and proud to say, that all the people who cared showed up. People from, as I said, different walks of life. And they are there now, both as the management team and as the advisory team for, events like the conference and so on. It was really good to see just, the connections that were there. Because I knew people, as I said, but people just emerged, Flavius, yourself, Kofi, Kim, Rodney, Junior, Padam, the team there, the dance, everyone put in, my older brother Richard came on board, Marcus Goff. And, the ripple goes out. And it was really that allowed us to keep going, because there wasn't any money put down, there wasn't any, it wasn't guaranteed. The thing could have kind of fallen down at the time.
Oh yeah.
But, those of us who, cared and thought it mattered, people really committed and have committed over the last 5 years. We've continued to stage conference. We have continued to do projects. Everything we're doing is basically a continuation of the strategic plan and programs that Colonel had outlined and started. So we figured it was our duty under, if you want to put it, under tradition, that we should take care of our elder and ancestors' business properly, and that we should not let his projects fail or stop because he is not here. And so we have been faithful to that. I'm very grateful to all the people who have made sure that this thing continued, all of them. And it is only by, I guess, the accumulation of that spirit of togetherness that we have been able to carry on. And again, I am, as chairman, always pleased to give a chairman's report, because I am proud of what we have done and continue to be, and we are going to keep going and yeah, man. As you know, Flavius, we have a lot of work to be done.
Oh yes, oh yes. But it is being done, and the progression is still going forward.
Well, I put it this way,
That is a good thing.
the rock is still rolling, and that is a reference to Frank's one of his favorite philosophical pieces,
Mm,
Myth of Sisyphus.
okay.
Yes, you as our listeners can, but that was an image, and yes, we are still rolling the rock, and we are still being guided as he was being guided. So we are being guided.
Yeah, Michael, I have a question.
And we must never forget that. We do, but we are being guided.
Michael, I have a question here.
Certainly.
For this year, right? You guys won't be having any conference, which would have been the 12th annual international conference.
Yes,
Your
sir.
conference is canceled because of the COVID. Are there any things in plan for say next year?
Yeah, well, as you know, the annual conference has been, one of the things that we have put a lot of effort into continuing,
Mm-hmm.
both for academic, cultural, and ancestral, reasons. Unfortunately, this year, we have had to postpone this year's program, themes, panels, etc., until next year, because it just has not been feasible to plan, to resource, and as the date approaches, we are fairly, we don't think it would be a responsible thing to try and do now, bring a lot of people together
Mm-hmm.
with all of that,
Yeah.
So, we have had to let that go. I know Flavius very passionate about this and so on, but we've had to let that go. It's not cancelled, it has been postponed.
Okay.
It will take place next year, good Lord willing. So this year, we feel it is still important and very important to honor our ancestors, which is the base central purpose of the conference and celebration on June 23rd, which is the day Quao signed treaty, and so on. So among us, and the gentleman next to you may be playing coy and not updating you on what has happened, but yes, we have discussed it, and we think that it is important, very important, since we have established the date as a date to celebrate and honor our ancestor Quao, that we do so this year. And we will have some ceremonial recognition of the day. And can I go ahead and bust the plan then, Flavius, or would you like to?
No man, go ahead. No man, go ahead.
Right. So really, as you see with many endeavors this year and entertainment and communication, it is we are planning to do a virtual Power Day celebration using some of the technology platforms which you are using now, and Flavius, I've encouraged to develop for the purpose.
Okay.
And we are putting together an itinerary. I think we can still make a very interesting presentation.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much that is relevant to indigenous people to be discussing right now. We don't have to go far to look for topic discussion. There are so many things that are part of our, normal conference presentation, wellness, food, academic, celebration, spiritual, greetings. So actually, they say a lot of things. But basically, when one door is closed, another is open. So just as we see a lot of people doing now, using internet, using technology to bring people together, to share information, to keep things going, to uplift people's spirit, to provide entertainment, to provide, a space for discussion. Yes, so we plan to provide such a space on June 23rd for our day, and we look forward to that presentation. Does that answer your question, sir?
Oh yes, definitely.
We would have to forego, the physical parts of the celebration, the Asafu yard and the food and the, some of that obviously we would not be able to. But again, using technology, we don't see why we can't bring some of this to life.
True.
And make it a very wonderful presentation. So that's what we're looking for.
Absolutely. I was there last year, so I did enjoy it myself. The food was good, and participate in some of the activities that was going on. So I was looking forward for the 12th one, but we understand, COVID came and spoiled everything.
Brethren, hear what happened now. COVID came, and we, as indigenous people, need to understand what is happening. So maybe COVID came to spoil everything, or maybe COVID came to remind us of something.
True.
Oh, yes.
And I tend to adhere to the latter.
Me too. Likewise.
And again, in over the last few years, as it pertains to my own business, which is making sauce and jam and so on and so forth, and trying to export and so forth, it has come to me, 2 words have become very important to me over the last few years. And I begin to see why now. The word local and the word indigenous.
Okay.
Local and indigenous. Whilst we are all connected, and we are, and perhaps at levels deeper than we appreciate, it is important that we, at every level, village, personal, national, that we really look at what does it mean to be a free living Maroon in Jamaica today. What does it mean? And perhaps look a little deeper.
That's a big point.
As a nation, look a little deeper. Very, 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 two things immediately rise. Our cost of energy to our economy and our cost of food to our economy.
Oh, yes.
Okay? And I mean, if we stand there and start to think, we can see that we have to readjust our way forward. Things that are happening now are real. COVID is a sign of things that are bigger than COVID.
Oh, yes.
When we say we are protectors of the Blue and John Crow Mountain and of the cockpit country, we must know what we are saying. We must know what it is we purport to be protecting.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we do. As a nation. I mean, you had Dr. Susan Atukan on your program.
Yes, we did, yes.
Yeah. That is someone who I am sure, has strong views about what is needed to protect not just what we call the environment, and environmentalists. We like to bash environmentalists. What is environment? What is environment? Environment is womb. I am not an indigenous grammar, but environment is womb. Oh, so that's why I say, we talk about things. COVID came to remind us something. And we are maybe in the process of reflecting on these things. And I'm saying, let us reflect deeply and wisely and decide. When we do decide to step forward, what is it we are about? Jamaica is a small country, 145 miles long by 59 miles wide, 3 point something million people. We have sunshine 24/7. We have, listen, we need to decide whether we, Jamaica, are going to survive or not. And when we say Jamaica, it's not Jamaica, the piece of rock. The rock was here and the rock will be here.
Mm-hmm.
Is we the people, the nation. The nation. Out of many one people. That is what is at stake.
Yeah.
That is what we are questioning the survival of. And we all need to be on board. So I don't care whether you're JLP, PNP, independent, not Rastafari. I don't care. I don't care. That's great. You're entitled. And that's good. Diversity is good. What I'm saying, division is not. Divisiveness is not good. So, we need to be speaking a language now of leadership that is different from what we have.
Oh, yes, definitely.
We have a political dialogue that cannot take us forward. It is divisive, it is tribal, it is old, it is stale. The metaphors are poor. There's nothing inspiring. Jamaica is a paradoxical place. We have made so much of so little, and yet so little of so much.
Yeah.
And I would say we have squandered our independence. We have squandered it.
Mr. Lumsden.
Squandered our independence.
Mr. Lumsden.
Yes, sir.
I need to invite you back for a program that I am planning to deal with independence.
Well, my dear sir, where I am now is this. You see, our generation is a generation that has grown up in Jamaica since independence.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So we have grown up in free and independent Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
We have enjoyed the best of whatever that meant.
True.
And I am not satisfied. I am not satisfied as a generation. No, and this has come to show us that we cannot be satisfied as a generation. And I am determined, we will not leave the stage muttering, oh, we talked about that from long time. Oh, we talked about that. We talk about a lot of things too long and don't do nothing about it.
Yes.
And if it's one thing I learned from my uncle is that doing is what matters.
Oh, yes.
Acting, exerting will is what matters. So that is really our determination, and that is where I am sitting now in my role as chairman looking out. We have a very strong, positive, enthusiastic, young leadership team at Charlestown. And they are going to be taking charge. And we are going to be putting them in charge and facilitating the things they need. Because they are the leaders of the future.
Mm-hmm.
Not me, not Flavius.
No,
our job now is to try and be responsible elders and see if we can help.
Guidance.
Make a path to the future and hand over something that is viable, sustainable, in decent condition. It has been battered and bruised. But Jamaica is still a very beautiful country, a very beautiful place with beautiful people. And that's been my experience. As hard as things have been, and as hard as things are, that still is my experience of Jamaica and Jamaican people. So that is what inspires us as Charlestown Maroon Council Limited. We are part of the world. We are part of Jamaica. We know how to flex. We know what it is to do business. We know what it is to have fun. We know what it is to celebrate. And, that is what we will be celebrating on June 23rd.
Okay, sir. Flavius, what were you saying about some independence? You were saying some.
No. We have to start a serious discussion of Jamaica's independence, and because I just like Mike said, we squandered it. I agree completely. But unlike a lot of people, I don't think it cannot be fixed because it can be fixed.
Flavius. That is the beautiful thing about life, If you look at life and you look at earth, there's a thing called healing, there's a thing called restoration, there's a thing called, dialogue, mutual, benefit, common ground. All of that is there for us, as Jamaica. It's all there,
Oh, yeah.
And not only that, we have about another, 2 million, 3 million Jamaicans living all over the globe. Who are some of the most connected, well-meaning, well-intentioned. They can't get a vehicle to participate. Because any effort that we make immediately is drawn into some political sphere.
Oh, yes.
No matter what it is, anything that you would want and to benefit Jamaica, no, it can't work. So somewhere along the way, it is going to get hijacked and it is going to get ray and this and that.
So true, yes.
It's every day. So why we can't do something for as a nation, for ourselves as people?
Yes.
Eh? What is it? If you are the Prime Minister, don't you are Prime Minister for everybody?
Yeah.
When you are an MP, Member of Parliament, when you go to Garden House, don't you swear an oath to the people and the government of Jamaica, not just your party? You don't go in there and shove up your fist or put up your V finger in a parliament. That's not the place for that. You are employed to the people of Jamaica.
Oh, yes.
So when you go in there, I don't care if you are the Member of Parliament for St. Catherine, you represent in St. Catherine. That's your job, huh? Did you know what your job is? So we're going to have to do some re-educating of our members of parliament as to what their job is. We make this thing about the office. Stadium is the office. Stadium is not the office. Stadium is the place to go and express ourselves and so. Hello?
Yes,
I'm here.
We still have you.
Yeah, sorry, I think I'm getting a call in. But
okay.
What happens when we go to the stadium, you see? This is the paradox part. We can all put on our national our Jamaica shirt and our flag, and we all can put it on and Zuzuvela and make a whole heap of noise and jump. And when we go there, who are we? We are there riding on the back of Usain Bolt, Shelley Fraser, or entertainers, people who have made it up from the grassroots by dint of their will, their determination, their talent. And we all go to the stadium and we ride on their back and celebrate and we look for gold medal and we want gold and we want it. And yet when we come to the office, Garden House, which is where the people's business is to be done, what is on display there is a joke. We don't see anybody in their national jersey.
Oh, no.
We don't see everybody on the field playing for Jamaica.
Big point. Big point. Big point.
No, we don't see it.
Yeah, we don't. No, we don't.
The quality of leadership, the quality of discussion, the quality of result. I was just reading the newspaper today. 18 years for regulations for private hospitals in Jamaica. 18 years, those regulations have languished.
Can you believe
Parliament, Gordon House is an office. It must operate well. It must get results for the Jamaican people.
In good time. Yes.
Well, sir, let me tell you, it is my view that members of parliament in Jamaica today are some of the least accountable employees, public employees in this country. The least accountable.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Any permanent secretary, anybody in the private sector, any vice president, any department head, anybody, you have to report to your board of directors. You have management meeting. We see joint select committee, all kind of things. Were you there? Did you contribute? What was the quality of debate? I didn't hear you. Were you prepared? Did you read the documents, or did you just come and sit and bang table? No, man, we're lazy in parliament. The results are ridiculous. We cannot produce regulation. We cannot write law. No, man, we need to fix up that office. That is the office where when we come out of this COVID, that office has to come up bigger, better, whatever, faster, stronger. Because right now it is weak.
Extremely so, yes.
Okay, and what is on display? When you bring children from basic school and high school to parliament to observe government in action, I can tell you it is embarrassing.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
It is an embarrassing display. We have to deal with that. That office, not stadium.
And it's not a good teaching point either.
Pardon?
Because you should...
That is the example. Why? What do you expect?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That is the example. What result do you expect?
Yeah.
How do you expect that to play out in society? Look at our neighbor to the north. And you can see what happens when civics goes awry, when civil society does not do its part. We see it now. What we are witnessing in America, you're just a ratted. Anything could ever go so see it there in front of us.
Never expect that.
Next week, mark that. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance. We, the Jamaican people, we need to hold our leaders to account. But in so doing, we also have to offer the example of good leadership and good followership. And that is something that, again, we emphasize with Charlestown. What does it mean to be a free living Maroon in Jamaica today? We have to operate in the context in which we are, and we have to know how to do so. So you see, I certainly don't give up hope. No, I think in Jamaica, if we are in a position, if we can do a few things right, we stand to have a disproportionately good result from doing so. And that's my mission now with Jamaica. Hello?
Yeah, man, I'm here.
Okay,
No, but
I just not...
I can tell the feedback. No, I agree with you completely, and you can always name me on the team because I am at one with you with that. Because what I'm thinking is that we have gotten in a state of, I don't know what to call it, but it's like the people in Jamaica, we're not thinking anymore. We're just existing. Day by day, we're existing. The politicians that talk and whatever, we don't even hear them anymore because they're not engaging us at all, or we are not engaged them either. I think that
all we have to do is see that as an opportunity. That's a wonderful thing about it. It keeps presenting you with today. Okay.
Yes.
We have the opportunity to address that. And this is something that we get on within Jamaica. We are very good at, reciting the problem over and over. We are great at the problem.
Oh, yes.
and calling for another report and another report. We are great at that. But we are not great at putting our heads together in Parliament, coming up with national programs.
Yeah, action, yeah.
That deal with national problems on a national basis, impartial basis, without the rub of party politics continually, being displayed. So yes, our problems are big, but they're not insurmountable. We're a small country. We're not China. We're not India. We're not Nigeria. We don't have, hundreds of millions of people to account for and be responsible for. And our problems are not at that scale. Come, let us scale our solution to our problems. Let us use the resources we have. Do what you can where you are with what you have.
Oh, yeah.
Jamaicans are remarkably creative, sophisticated, traveled people. It's our history. That's my experience of Jamaicans, all walks of life. Very sophisticated people.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
There is a reason why them say, if I agree in the red, there's a reason why.
Oh, yes.
There's a reason why if you go anywhere in the, yes, man, you must buck up a Jamaican somewhere doing this. Yes, man, there's a reason why.
Little but with Talawa.
There's a reason why. There's something about Jamaica and Jamaicans that says, come, go out, let's go, let's do it. We have what we need.
And we are doing well all over the world. Anyway, you can find Jamaicans, you can find somebody doing well.
Well, there you go. There you go. So what is it? And how do we bring some of that, energy, knowledge, resource back into solving some of our problems? If we really engage ourselves, the community, is there any problem that Jamaica have that we can resource and solve?
I don't
is there
think
really
so.
any problem? Think about it. Something like, let's say, we have people in Jamaica who need kidney dialysis. Let's say. This is something we can manage and know. We can, through our doctor system, through our national health, we can know how many people require dialysis treatment in Jamaica every year. How many? And we can, just as you see people working out now with hospital beds and ventilators, well, how many dialysis beds and units do we need to run to take care of these people? Yeah. And you will always find in Jamaica, it's not a big number. No. We're not China. We're not. So it's not like we are going to need 1 million on it. But we don't answer the question. We don't have that sense of assurance. Come, we need to provide this. How many dialysis? If we had one in every parish, if we had two in every... Come now, man. How we make it look so? I am sure if we put things to the right people, we could actually get that put together, funded, and I'm sure you will be surprised. Oh, yeah. Look at something like agriculture. Jamaica, we have been in agriculture 400 years. And we still stuck on sugar. We have not really come up beyond, above, old time banana, old time sugar, old time this, old time that. Yeah. That's it. Ground provision, first stage. Yes, we do so. Yes, of course we do manufacturing. Of course we do processing. Of course we, and we sell and export. Of course we do. But do we do it in anything like the quantity that we should or could? Could, yeah. Mm-hmm. And yet I get the sense that as we go forward, our agriculture machine is disappearing. Where is RADA? Where is AMC? We talk about bringing food from country. We see the hotel shut down, surplus all over the country, man, I throw food, and here we are locked down in Kingston. Yes. Mm-hmm. How far is it from Kingston to St. Anne's, to Clarendon? How far it is? Not far. Hours drive, yeah. Okay, so how, excuse my French, hard can it be to make that work? Now, if you go back into our political history, you have a thing called the AMC,
Yes, I remember
Don't
it well.
you remember?
Yes,
No, you see, this is the part, Flavius, where my generation, I can't work with it. 'Cause everything you see how easy we say these things.
yes.
Oh yes, I remember it well. The AMC. What do you think the AMC was? What was the whole Agriculture Marketing Corporation? What do you think the concept was?
Buy
Bring
from
food
the
from
farmer.
country. Bring food
Yeah.
from country and
Yeah.
provide it for the urban population and for staging and things for export. That's it. Now, when was AMC formed? I remember my old man was involved with that from, so that is what, going back, 60 now? That's 50 years ago.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying, Flavius. Our generation now runs the risk of going down in history as a bunch of fools. And we will exit the stage. We will exit the stage muttering, just as you say. Oh boy, we talk about that from. Oh boy, we talk about. No, sir, can't work. All them coffee board, cocoa board, pimento board, railway board. We need to just organize ourselves like a real, marketing unit, get GPS involved. Jamaica, we can grid that, Jamaica,
Yeah.
grid it out, man. Where the land is, where the people is, where the thing is, where the food is, where the road is. Very importantly, where the water is.
Yeah.
Very importantly, where the water is. But I don't get a sense of that. I can't see that. Where's the map? Where's the grid? Where's the app? How do we move? Yes, come. We have a little, input. Handheld computer. Rather man go around. I hear about these things, and then I hear our good consultant to the Ministry of Agriculture saying, "Oh boy, COVID has exposed weaknesses in our agriculture." Listen, man. Listen, man. If we don't get angry, if we don't see that this is not good enough, trust me, our generation will go down in history as a bunch of muttering fools.
Mm-hmm.
We did not care enough. We did not do enough.
Did not act. Yes.
That's correct. And it is something that is chafing to me now, because I realize I am now of that age. I cannot put it to my parents' generation. It's not there. It's not them. It's not our parents in the 70s. Yes, every country goes through history. Every history is a journey. And Jamaica has been remarkable in that throughout all our hardships, we have maintained a democratic tradition. We have voted. We have changed governments. People have expressed their will, and that has never been challenged. And I'm saying, if you look to our two closest neighbors, Cuba, Haiti, in my lifetime, those of our Caribbean fellows and colleagues, they have not really enjoyed that right. They have not enjoyed that privilege. Either one. Our two closest neighbors throughout my lifetime, our entire lifetime. So we have a democratic tradition. We have a spine, a backbone that, despite its its tribalization, it expresses a will of Jamaican people to govern themselves, to have a say. And I'm saying, good, we have to honor that, we have to respect that, and we have to provide good leadership against that, better than we have before. We have talented people on both sides of our political stripe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But somehow, I never get to see them playing as Jamaica. I can get this side, or I can get that side, but I can never really see the full side on the field playing as one team, and all our top ballers, our top people, and all our talent. You look into Gordon House. I never feel that. I never feel that energy. I never feel that vibe. If we ever switch that on, there really is little that we can't do in Jamaica. Within reason and obviously within, but even beyond what we vision for ourselves.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Beyond our vision for ourselves is small. And I think that is actually one of the charges that I lay against our political leadership and leadership. We have a small vision for our country. We have a small vision for ourselves. Remittances, we can do better than that. Turn that remittance into a knowledge product.
Yes.
Yeah.
Turn that remittance into
True,
knowledge.
true. Yep.
And then you see value.
Mm-hmm.
That is not to downplay the importance of the contribution and the good-heartedness. It's a sign of good-heartedness. Our people overseas care. But we are only taking the least. The money coming back is one thing. What we want is the resource, human resource, the talent, yes, the contact, the things that we know, the things that we have done, the things that we have learned that are easily and readily scalable in Jamaica. We don't need, as I said, we don't need the problem. We don't need to solve the problem of China. All we need is solutions for Jamaica. Small is beautiful. Small can be an advantage.
Oh, yes.
But we have to turn our advantages into advantages again. We have to look out. Sankofa. That is why even Sankofa, but for us at Charlestown, the Sankofa deity is the one that was chosen. A river deity. But the process, it is not wrong to look back for things in the past that are useful for you in the present. No man, Jamaica have a history, Jamaican people are resilient people. Jamaican built Jamaica after slavery. It's Jamaicans who built Jamaica after slavery.
Oh, yeah.
That is a discussion we need to come back and have as well.
Oh, yes. As
I mentioned to you, my mother's book yesterday, People, which is exactly about that.
Yeah.
Yes, I will, and we will. But you see, this is where I'm sitting. Local, indigenous.
Yes.
Come, let us provide our own solution. Come, let us use some of our own local knowledge and what we know about our things. Let us use what is useful from overseas. We don't have to reinvent everything. Just look for, is there a place where this is being done well? Is there, something we can learn from this? This may be bigger than us, but is there a way we can scale this thing, project, or this idea to what we need?
Yes.
So I'm very positive. I'm optimistic. By nature, I am. I certainly don't see, the game is over. No, we may be coming down in the second half now, certainly for my time of the game. And, maybe we want to see if we can, defend it a little bit and maybe push up and score 2 more goals before the game done,
Yeah, we defend it and put the youngsters them up front now.
Pardon?
No, we go and defend it and put the youngsters them up front now, as you said, earlier.
Okay, well, again, that's what I'm saying. I always play sweeper, I play football and, I always like to play sweeper,
Okay.
You pass, man, you're looking out, you see things in front of you, it's a good role. But again, yes, we need to empower young people, man. We need to let them go, man. We need to free up their brain. We have geniuses.
Yeah.
Young geniuses throughout across the length and breadth of Jamaica.
All about the place,
yeah? Engaging them properly. We're not giving them good opportunities. We're not giving them opportunities to use their talents more, to better purpose. I think, and that is definitely something we have to do. We have a cohort of young men who we need to have to work with in a very serious fashion.
True. Many years ago,
but,
remember.
The thing about it is we are not a big country. We know the situation. We know some of our problems. We know them deeply. We know them.
Many years ago, I remember Harry Belafonte said something about black people. Him say since after slavery, our names have been
Sorry,
changed.
sir. There's something I'm not hearing you well,
No, I say I remember Harry Belafonte said something about, black people in general. Said after slavery, our names change from Negro to black to African Americans, etc., etc. And one of the mistakes that his generation made was they ran the race from the first leg to the third leg, and they gave the batons to our generation. And the thing that they did wrong, they didn't teach us how to finish the race. And we are in that same position right now. It's for us now to get the youths, the younger ones, them involved and teach them. You mentioned that earlier in your conversation about the Charlestown Maroon people. So it's you're putting these people in front for them to step up and do their things, and you guys are just there to guide them along, because it's so it's time for us to
Yeah,
do
man,
that.
that's
We're
what I'm saying,
talking,
man.
and as you said,
We have to.
we're going to be a generation with just, we're going to leave this place with just muttering. So it's time for us to really start getting some actions.
Yeah, man, and we can. That's a beautiful thing. Just take the next right step. What should we do today that takes us in that direction?
Yeah, man, it's true.
That's it. It's not magic. It's not rocket science. It's determination. Doing the things you say you were going to do. It's showing up when the time is needed. It's if someone contribute to your effort, then you have to contribute to their effort. This is something that we are engendering among the Maroon villages in Jamaica. We are one. Charlestown is only one of 5 villages.
Yeah.
The last thing Colonel said to me was, I asked him, well, what would you want? Him say, unite. Unite the Winwood Maroons. Unite the Maroons of Jamaica. And that's what we should do. We go to each other's celebration. We celebrate together.
Make a lot of sense, yeah.
We need to. Also, as Maroons and elders, we need to also keep counsel among ourselves.
Yes.
And I think we need to do a better job of that among the council. So that is one of the things that actually has fallen off since Colonel passed away. Frank used to be the public relations officer, so he played a big role in keeping that grouping together and the conversations going. So that is definitely something that we will be working on and are actively working on now. And I have certainly again advised Charles that we as Charlestown, we must what is the word? Demonstrate that by our
action.
And insist on it, that it happens. I mean, no matter where it starts, but it has to start, and so it can move ahead.
Well, one of the things is that I think is interesting out of this whole COVID experience is the importance of building trust, so that when we say things and when we talk together, people can have confidence that what we say is what we'll do.
Yeah, very important.
And that we learn now what it means to stand together. And I'm struck also by watching this gentleman, Governor Cuomo in New York. And when he ends each day he comes, he gives his update. They've been through a lot. But each day he ends by saying, look, we can get through this because we are New York tough. Not just tough. What does that mean? Not just tough, but smart, disciplined, united, and loving. I'm saying yes. I like that. That's a good team ethic for me. I'm a team person.
Yeah.
So if we, as young leaders and leaders now and mentors, if we can adapt, say, okay, we like to say, boy, in Jamaica, we're tough and everybody in Jamaica tough.
Yeah.
Are we smart? Are we disciplined? Are we united? Are we loving? I'm not saying we're not. I'm asking the question, and we should ask it of ourselves.
Yeah.
We need more of
Is
it. We
that-
need more of it. We don't have 100%. None of what you just mentioned. We need more.
And certainly.
But what you just mentioned is basically saying we have to start thinking again.
Well, isn't this wonderful? Isn't that what conference is about? Isn't that what this pursuit is about? Isn't that what Sankofa is about? Isn't that what our journey is about? Yes, that's what it's about. Thinking again.
Yeah. Thinking again, yeah. Yeah.
Build back better. Better mental models, better metaphors.
Oh yes.
Something, a language that takes us forward, that doesn't leave us stuck in a tribal quagmire where we can't come out. We need a language to lift us, to take us, to show a vision. We need a language of, smart, disciplined, united, loving. Not this cascades from the political that we can't seem to avoid. As we mount the political stage, all intelligence flies out of our head, and all that can come out of our mouth is some gal and boy. I think of it, man.
It's really awful, yeah, man. And then the media jumps on it, and it just carries on and carry on and carry on.
Unfortunately, and to some degree, that is the nature of media, but they have their job to do. And again, I think if the media are engaged properly, the media have and will play a very important role, because I give a lot of credit to the media in Jamaica over the last 20 years for providing a voice for the voiceless, for people like Mutty Perkins, people like that. They don't know what they have done. That radio space in Jamaica was very, very critical.
Oh yes.
Those voices, those investigative, people, Cliff Hughes, Carol Narcisse, people like that, who were willing to use the media as a space to hold a conversation about civil society, about governance, about what is right, about what is not right, about where boundaries need to be addressed, where information needs to be made available to the public. Yeah, man. So when I say we have squandered our independence, I don't want anybody to feel that, we are nothing, we are nowhere. No. Jamaica continues to be a remarkable place. For whatever reason, we're still punching above our weight on an international consciousness. But we can do better. That's all. We don't have to throw out the baby with the bathwater. No. We don't have to start all over. No. We don't have to forget everything that we may have learned the hard way along the way. Hard experience is good experience,
Yes.
But we have to use it. We have to use it, and we have to stop being mentally lazy. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. We have all these things. We sing song and we don't know the meaning of the song.
I have a question here from a listener.
Yes, please.
How the polarization and divisiveness affect the distribution of scarce benefits?
Pardon?
How the polarization and divisiveness affect the distribution of scarce benefits?
You mean as in, like, say, political culture in Jamaica?
I would imagine.
Prime Minister has articulated so well.
Yes.
Well, that could be a very, very long discussion.
I know.
Or if the listener thinks about it and uses their own, experience and observation, I don't think I don't think the question is hard to answer.
Okay.
If you have as your starting point tribalism and divisiveness, why then would you be surprised, or what then would you expect as an outcome when it comes to benefits and spoils?
Yeah.
They become scarce. So if you start with a scarcity mentality, you will have scarcity. And if your inclination is towards selfishness, to hoard up for yourself, to only look out for, well, we can see those are part of the results we're getting. Look across communities in Jamaica. You don't have to come. This is one of the things, we stand here, one of the things I'm working with now is this. If you know the answer, don't stand there asking the question. Ask the next question. That's one of the things we like to do in Jamaica. We like to ask the same question. We know the answer. Listener, check yourself. I don't know how old you are, and no disrespect, listener, but check yourself. I think you know the answer to your own question. It affects it negatively. And as I said, it could be a very long conversation because the examples are so numerous and myriad and span across so many spheres of our life in Jamaica and in the world, eh?
True.
Am I talking out of school? Am I saying something we don't know?
No, you're right on point.
The conversation we are having is about.
Yeah.
Right. That's precisely the conversation we're having.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why are we choosing this? Why do we prefer this? Do we prefer this? Is there a better model? Is there something else we could do about it? Why is it that only, I don't know, 40% of the population, voting population in Jamaica votes? Why?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why? Come. We have to get up off our misery, off of our malaise, off of our excuse, off of our veranda. We have to get up off of that and address systematically, one by one, or in sequence, because things don't, things are interconnected. But we have to have a way of moving forward that makes more sense than the one that we are applying. If you continue to do the same thing every day and you keep getting the same result.
Oh, yeah.
Jamaica is poised to do something. We're poised to do something. Like I said, we very talented. I mean, the generation coming up behind us is not an easy generation. So again, we must now know what is it we want. How can we help? We can't solve. We can't. I can't solve their problem. But you know what? I recognize is if given the chance, they may be able to solve problems we can't solve.
That's true.
Because it's more relevant to them. It's happening in their real lifetime. We were young 50 years ago, chasing, following up Bob Marley and singing. Yeah, man. We were doing that 50 years ago. We had our struggle 50 years ago. We had our context 50 years ago. Free Mandela, do this, do that. Castro, Cuba, We had our context of struggle and, political action and awareness. We're in a different time now. But we do need to have political action, awareness. Yes. Civil society has to move itself along. You know that when we lobby and advocate, it can produce results.
Yeah.
You look at Goat Island. Goat Island was something, them came and tell us about Ray, two little lizard and blah, blah, blah. And we must have that. And if we don't have how much, $1.5 billion we enough talk. I mean, don't talk. I mean, don't talk. That is what is wrong. We are going to talk. Because that was such a bad idea. And the whole presentation, the whole discussion, we're going to put a coal plant. Are you, sorry, pardon my French, are you kidding me? Are you serious? Some ideas are just too bad to even entertain now. So, yes, we want the cockpit country, free and clear. All the water, all the land for the next generation.
Yeah. We
are not going to suck it out, dry it out, mine it out, and left trash for the next generation. This is the land of wood and water. Well, make it be the land of wood and water. What we have seen in Brazil, we have seen people take action. One little man by himself go and replant a whole forest. Him one get up every day. Everybody say, look on that fool, man. What the little man do? And every day the man get up and him go and plant trees, him go and tend the land, him care the land, him love the land. That is the spirit we need in Jamaica. Love, care, tending. We must love the land again. Love the people again. Love the fresh air. Love the goodness. We are blessed. We must know we are blessed. We like to sing. Yeah. Gratitude is a must. Where's the gratitude? 50 years ago, when message music was message music, Burning Spear said, "Where is your love, Jamaica? I can't see your love. I can't see your love."
Wow.
We have been having this conversation long enough.
Oh yeah.
We need to decide now where this thing is going. We need to decide now what it means to be a free living Jamaican.
Mm-hmm.
So I take out Maroon, put in Jamaican because we are Jamaican. What does it mean to be a free living Jamaican in Jamaica today? We phrase our question a little different because, it has cultural implication. What does it mean to be a free living Maroon in Jamaica today?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we are Jamaican. We have this discussion going on about Rastafari and Maroons. There's no contradiction.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the same thing. But there is no contradiction between the two. Both are an expression of freedom.
Yeah.
The will to freedom. That's it. Some people say Maroon are the father and Rasta the son.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, there isn't a contradiction. But they are different things. And this is where we must maintain our mental clarity to know distinctions between things. Sometimes we get mentally lazy and we just bunch up everything in a one and we don't have the mental clarity to carry out a discussion.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
we get lazy and we get, and we want to have the talk our way and we don't want to take no talk.
Same thing them do with the music too.
Everything is there, boss. Well, there you go. If you are confused, then you easy to
mix up dancehall with reggae.
Well, listen, everything is its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is, we part of the problem is we bring judgment to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So our parents, when we were, saying Bob Marley and expressing and trying to make sense out of, political, they didn't necessarily understand what was going on. And they were like, what is going on? Well, dude, what are you doing? Why don't you do like we did?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're in the same position now. The next generation wants to take charge of itself. Their culture, mores, the information they have is different from
what we had back then, yeah.
So dance hall is an expression of something real. It's out of our society.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you like the poetry or you don't like the poetry or you don't like the story, that's another thing. But just as, the language of the culture of Rastafari and liberation, yes, that's clear. It's distinct. It knows what it's about. The language of Maroon struggle, it's clear. We know what it's about. Each one comes with its own contradictions and controversies. But that's just what history is. History is just reality. We have to have a conversation at some point as a nation and a generation. What really happened to our country during the 70s? What was that all about? Who really did what? Why? If you grew up in a family that was a JLP family in Jamaica, and you migrated and went to Florida, and you grew up in a family that was more for the government and stayed, and your perspective of Jamaica and the story of Jamaica is very different.
Oh yes.
Just like this story, just like the perspective of a Cuban in Miami and a Cuban in Cuba.
Oh, yeah.
Their perspective, if you ask them to tell you the story, they will tell you two different stories.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
A true thing. That.
But there is a point at which our story is really one story.
Mm-hmm.
It's not two stories, it is one story. So that is what we have to now make sense of. So listen, I was thinking about it the other day and I'm saying, well, who are some of the people that Jamaicans listen to? Because we listen through metaphors. We listen to how things people say. Well, I would have to say, if I was thinking about people that people in Jamaica listen to, who are articulate, who are poetic, who are extremely, prolific.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman in jail now called Mr. Vibes Cartel.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that is someone who speaks and people understand. Whether we like what he says or not is another question. How we try to interpret, what use we make of, how it relates to the broad population and the consciousness. Well, these are things. Just as Bob Marley was misunderstood and mischaracterized a generation ago, and people before him, Marcus Garvey, maybe misunderstood and mischaracterized a generation. We have to be interpreting in our time now. We have to be understanding our time now. We have to be understanding that our children, we cannot blame them for the world they live in.
Yeah.
We gave them that world to live in. Seems to me we want to stand back and blame our children and then say, oh, here, you've graduated. Here, I'm giving you, we're handing it over to you. You figure it out. Well, gee, thanks, guys. Thanks a lot. I don't think we should do that. I think we can continue and should have an intergenerational handover.
Yeah.
That is responsible, that is conscious, that takes account of their view, aspirations. It's their life in front now, not ours.
Yeah, and teach them how to do it.
And let them teach us how to do some things as well.
Like,
Oh,
there
yeah.
you go, there you go.
Let them teach us. I saw something on YouTube the other day. Something where they're using some magnetism, electromagnetism to collect plastic out of the ocean.
Okay.
Right? Something, and they have, and it sucks back the little plastic back to it, and it's electrostatic. No, this was something. This was developed by like a 12-year-old or 15-year-old girl in science class in somewhere in somewhere. And when they asked, she just said, "Well, that's how she saw it."
Yeah.
When presented with that's how she saw it. And I'm saying, brown dog, check that out. Because if the world was going to be waiting on me to see that, or that would never happen.
Good
Yeah.
job.
But you show it, you open. Listen, man, our children are a lot smarter than we think. All of this information and access, it's not all just sitting there playing video games. These kids are smart.
Oh, yes.
So just as we would seek to teach them,
They are teaching
we
us
also
to, yeah.
need to be taught by them as well.
Yeah, because I think more than teaching them, we need to engage them.
Yes.
And I think the schools are not engaging them enough, or as they should.
Well, again, this is part again as what do we think? Some of our methods maybe have to change. Certainly, one of the things coming out of the COVID experience globally is that business models will change, education models will change.
Yeah.
The amount of travel will change. The way people do business and things will change. All of the flying around all over the world, maybe it's not necessary. Maybe it's not a good thing. Maybe we take some stress off of the environment. Maybe we do some online, which means that we now have work to do in terms of the governance of online.
Yeah.
Online is now something that we as citizens have to really take a very strong interest in the governance thereof. Otherwise, we run all kinds of risks with online and governance and privacy.
And with online, especially in Jamaica, countries like Jamaica, we need the proper infrastructure, which
there you go.
COVID exposed us badly.
Well, it has exposed a lot of places badly. It has exposed a lot of things. We have been talking too long. We have been kicking the can down the road. We have been, crying crocodile tears. We have been doing a lot of things. And, COVID has come and exposed us, yes, badly. That's correct.
Yeah.
It has in fact exposed us. But do we run? Do we hide? Do we roll over? Do we squinch up? Or are we bold? Do we step up? Do we see what is coming? Do we meet our fate? Do we change fate into destiny? So rather than, the fate of this COVID thing, maybe we change it into destiny and we change the course of, destiny here as opposed to fate. That's why I say we sing songs we don't understand. Destiny. Say, Mama, put it on my destiny.
Yeah.
I want to choose my destiny. We have the song. We need to go back and know what they mean. Yeah, destiny.
Absolutely.
Let us rise up ourselves. Let us go and see what is coming. Let us band together. Let us not all, huddle down behind bars, behind closed gates. Come, people, come. Stand up out of your gate. Come, let's look out. Let's see what's coming. And I don't mean this in terms of no, go out in the street, don't wear mask. I'm talking about just as an attitude, as a society. Come, let's take back our spaces. Let's take back our streets. Let's put civil society back in place. Let's restore parks. Let's restore public things and places. Let us, put the balance back in the thing. The world we are in an imbalance, inequity. Don't care. Consumerism.
True thing.
The equation says if we want to proceed like this, we are going to need 2 planet Earth to provide. We don't have 2 planet Earth. Come, guys, we have to think about what we're doing. What is important? Food, clothes, shelter, love, connection, your family, the people you care about, purpose. Yeah, man. So that's where I sit. And as I said, Charlestown Maroon Council Limited is an interesting place from which to view the world and to which to be working as an NGO, as a community, as a village. It's been a wonderful experience, and I really enjoy the work for the broad dimension that it has, for the relevance it has to, life and to the future, and to connecting people around the world and, being able to work together, because our problems are world problems. That's what pandemic says. We're all in this thing together. So let us not let that not be another, song that we sing and we don't know the meaning of. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, Mr. Lumsden. I hear you. I really like your perspective on things, because those are some, your speech this morning is something that can wake up Jamaica, and not only Jamaica alone, but people worldwide, especially Jamaicans abroad too as well. Because in your conversation, you said something about remittance and Jamaican who want to come back home to help. And I know a lot of Jamaican, and one of the things they always tell me, every time they reach out, the government cut them down. And I'm asking why. Tell them they have to come through some diaspora and a whole heap of foolishness. Yeah, so we need to find some avenue, some way of getting them back into Jamaica and starting things local and indigenous. Those 2 words that you say, just came to you the other day. You definitely have to focus on those and, start doing action.
Well, they didn't come to me the other day. They have been 2 concepts that I have been working with. For some reason, they have just had importance in my mind over the last few years.
Okay.
And in the country we're doing. But it is now that I am sort of feeling how they come together, and I'm saying, okay, maybe that is part of why we were having these thoughts. Maybe that's part of why this actually is important. And again, the other thing I would just say is that, for every thing that I can say or have said or I owe people for, I've had the benefit of going to good schools, having good teachers. I have had the benefit of you know, a caring family.
Mm-hmm.
Members of my family are teachers themselves, educators, and we're committed to it.
True.
Um, you know, the benefit of experience,
Mm-hmm.
mentors, people like Frank, the benefit of having to engage
Mm-hmm.
with the group at Charlestown, whom, as I said, I had known by name but never really had to work with.
Okay.
And just the positive response that has come through that,
Mm-hmm.
and just sharing that. I have learned. That's what I say. I am no expert in culture practice. So I am a student in that. I am learning about things that I never knew about.
Okay.
I have to share, okay, I have that experience to share. But in everything that I have learned, you know, I have been taught. There have been people who have taken time to teach me, to, you know, correct me, to have the opportunity to fail and try again.
Yeah.
So, you know, I owe a lot of people, and I recognize that. And that's also part of the mission now, is
Oh.
to not have these, not to have, just to not let that work stop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were taught things. We were asked to be things. We were given pledges to recite in school. We sang national anthems. We were taught things. We went to good school.
Yeah.
So we must make use of it.
True. True. Well, Michael, thank you for taking time out of your schedule this morning and for being here with Flavius and I. And want to wish you all the best and for everything coming up, both in your business and with the Maroons. Want to, you know, wish you more guidance, you know, that Father will put you in the right position to make the right decisions and that you'll be able to come back and talk to us again, and especially with your mother book.
Yeah, man. Well, again, I think, thank you. And I think this is a great idea. I certainly encourage Flavius and yourself to continue. I think, you know, we have said over time,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, that it's important that we have a voice, that we have a media channel. We have
Mm-hmm.
talked about, you know, having a radio station broadcast out of Charlestown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying this sounds good to me. This feels like it'll work.
It's,
This is something you don't maybe have to be doing every day, but this is a channel that let's build this channel up. Let's make this channel available for, you know, exchange of ideas.
okay,
You
definitely,
know,
definitely.
yeah, based on the
And it's a
internet.
platform for you anytime you're ready to come back.
I appreciate that.
All
And
right.
yeah, I will also be sending people in your direction, and I will be listening, and you know, whatever we can do to continue to build the interest and build the listenership, I think that's great. So congratulations to you both on this initiative,
Thank you
and I
very
wish
much.
you all the
Thank you
best.
so much. Yeah.
So, Flavius, before we close out, we're going to play a little of the Butch Banton Destiny, as Michael has mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
There was good and evil. We chose good. Why raise the time of the Most High, ye sons of men? The rich man's wealth is in the city. Yeah. Destruction of the poor is his poverty. Lord, destruction of your soul is vanity. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you hear? I wanna rule my destiny. Yeah, I wanna rule my destiny. Whoa, whoa, destiny. Mama, look from when you.
Yes, yes, indeed. We want to rule our destiny. We should rule our destiny. So, Flavius, before we get out, what do you have to say to the people of
Yeah.
Enfield, Jamaica?
Yeah. I am hoping that our listeners really enjoyed Mr. Lumsden this morning.
Very,
Speaking
very,
of
very,
variety,
very eloquent speaker indeed. Love everything we him say, Absolutely right.
and he's very passionate about what
Oh yeah, I could
he's
hear it
doing.
in him voice at some point.
Uh, strides that the Charleston Maroons are making. And like you said, at one point they were at the bottom of the pile, but now they are standing their ground, standing their own ground, contributing to Jamaica.
True, true.
And, I like that, I like that.
Absolutely.
And just remind people that we will be getting back to them with the details of the virtual Quao Day celebration for our great ancestor who signed the peace treaty with the British. And I must tell you, 1739. And if you check your dates, you will find out that the Maroons got freedom with the peace treaty 100 years before emancipation came.
Okay.
So you can see the significance of that 100 years. It wasn't like a year or two or a month or so. It was the emancipation was very far off.
Yeah.
Very far. So that in itself is a magnificent feat.
Yeah, man.
And all should be proud of that. But we will get back to you with the details of this 23rd of June.
Yeah.
So you can you can tune in and watch and listen to that celebration. Well, tomorrow we'll be having our man Don from London with a lot of information, a lot of scoop, because a lot of things are happening now in Britain, read the football, in the rest of Europe, and he has it all. He's on the inside.
Yeah.
Live in London, he's speaking. He's going to the clubs, speaking to the people who are deciding what to do now. See, Germany has started playing back from last weekend.
Yeah.
And I think the rest of Europe will want to do that.
True.
And of course, we heard that Jamaica had canceled the season, and not everybody is happy. And I think they're going to be less happy when they realize that the rest of the world is starting back.
Oh yeah.
So let's wait and hear Don tomorrow.
And on Friday we have Culture Doc. Tomorrow I'll give you a list of next week. Some of next week guests.
Yeah, we are lined up some very important.
Some very, very, very important guests,
We can confirm. Yeah.
So as always, as I would say to you before I leave you, take care of yourself, your family, your loved ones, and always remember that prayer do changes things, regardless of what religion you belong to. Continue praying. So until tomorrow, this is Franco and Flavius.
And this is Flavius saying, although the countries are opening up and they're everybody's pushing forward, remember social distancing. Remember your mask. Remember you need to protect yourself and you need to protect your kids. So until tomorrow, be safe. Always be safe.
And Tafina to take us out.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is just speak. One word is enough, and I'm no longer so rough. I forget what I was trying to say. I no longer do what I was gonna do, but you're no good for me. That's why me know what set me if it go flee. Me have to take away myself. relationship I'm gonna desist. But how can I face you when all I wanna do is just taste you? I know you think I play me, I play, but soon you're gonna see the light of day. Just relax, don't move an inch. I'll be gone in a pinch. May I feel take away myself. May I feel take away myself. May I feel hide like a thief in the night. May I forget out of sight. May I feel take away myself. Take away myself. I have to utilize I will. Show the eye a clean pair of heels. I say, been there, done that, don't need it again, yeah. I'm not a masochist who won't play your game, yeah. To how you move your arm, me way to the core. Sayonara, the hot girl gone through the door. Take away ourselves. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. Say no goodbye, girl, let me take away ourselves. Take away ourselves. No goodbye, girl, let me take away
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless. Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.